Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel. For this video, it's going to be a little different. I'm not going to be playing any games. I'm just going to be showcasing the new cards for the new mini set of the Titans for Hearthstone. I'm not going to be really playing any of them because I don't really know what their possibilities are. I mean, they're endless for God's sake. But we could get started. Scroll from top to bottom. There are a lot of cards. There are 72 cards in this entire mini set, so it's very much worth the 2,000 gold that I spent. But yeah, let's get started. So for the first one is Soul Burner Varia. If their friendly undead dies, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero and get a random shadow result. That's really good for priests, especially being able to do straight 2 damage to the enemy hero. Just invalidate, taunt, and everything. Also to get a random shadow priest spell, which has a lot of potential for a bunch of stuff. I mean, they have a lot. There's the 2 mana one that if you kill a minion, it deals like 3 to the hero's face, and that just can go to an infinite loop, especially with the decosting of the spells. And next one is Thalgul Twilight Chieftain. It's a taunt, and he has lifesteals, which is an interesting combination. But he has a little unique mechanic. Start of the game, he has a 25% chance to corrupt the game with a random anomaly. Now, these anomalies have varying effects. I'm probably gonna be flashing some on screen. The three that are currently that have a 25% chance, if you have them in this deck, that would happen. Is one is Approaching Nightmare. Both players will start with the Oxford Hope's End in their hand. I'm not sure if they're referring to the new Yogg-Saron, because there is a new Yogg-Saron is a Titan, and we'll probably get to him in a short while. There is another anomaly, Gift of Gluttony, that both players will start with 2 extra drawn cards, so not just 2 random cards from the deck. And then there's Fast Track, so it will reduce the cost of all cards in both players' starting hand by 1. So that's the Fast Track one is definitely a good way to like get out really early game cards. Then next we have a General Vasax, a 7 mana rush that you will gain 4 armor, and it has a unique death rattle that you lose 4 armor. So what I noticed when going through these cards beforehand is that there are a lot more archetypes, like lose armor to do X effect, uh, making turning mana into health, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, this is really unique, especially with Armor Warrior, that you could just constantly keep this guy on the field so long as you're gaining or you have 4 armor. The next one is, see, this is Yogg-Saron Unleashed, so it is not Yogg-Saron Hope's End. So it's likely referring to the Dark Moon Fair Yogg-Saron, that if you play 10 spells, you spin the wheel of Yogg-Saron. Yeah, this one is interesting because for the Titan, I believe. Hold on, give me 1 second. I think I can pull it up right now. And I finally got to the site where it shows Yogg's Unleashed abilities. Since he is a Titan, he will have 3 abilities when you click on him before he can actually attack. And don't let the 15 mana cost fool you, because as it shows, for each spell that you cast game, it will cost 1 less. So if you like cast uh 10 spells, it'll cost 5 mana to summon this Titan. Very good. That seems very good synergy with Priest, since this is a neutral card. But once you get to take a look at the abilities, I'll probably show some on the screen. Uh, One is to force each enemy minion to attack a random enemy minion, which is induce insanity. Reign of Chaos allows them to take control of an enemy minion. I'm guessing you get to choose which one, and then the Tentacle Swarm is to fill your hand with 1/1 chaotic tentacles. Tendrils? Wow, it's actually called tendrils, huh? Uh, the battle cry is to cast a random 1 cost spell, and then to improve future chaotic tendrils. So if you play like, so what would happen was that if you played one and if you played right after that, it would cast a random 2 cost spell, and then a random 3 cost spell, and then it would keep going until it reaches the 10 cost spell range. And that will really be insane. But for the next one would be Eye of Chaos, and is this to get 2 chaotic tendrils. For a neutral card, that seems pretty good, especially to get the counter up and just to get some tempo in. Next one is going to be Forbidden Fruit. You just spend all your mana, and this being a druid card, you can gain that much attack or twice that much armor. Usually, probably when they're at their 10 mana, they're going to spend all their mana to get double the armor, because that's 20 armor card for well, all their mana. But yeah. Shadow Touch, Kividir is your next healing effect, deals damage instead, which could be interesting with the new priest meta at the moment. Enemy minions cost health as mana, Warlock doing its thing. It's like that other card that like 5 mana 8/8 or 7/7 that like does the exact same thing, except for this one it's just 1 mana. And now the assembly line, another mech rogue card is discover a mech from any class. If it's from any class, that could be crazy because there are already a bunch of mech related cards in standard that are from other classes, like mech mage, mech paladin, all those. And next one is a Demon Hunter card. It's Battlecry. If you've cast 5 or more spells this game, give your hero 4 attack this turn. That could be pretty interesting, especially making them be more aggro and cast a lot more spells. Demon Hunter's been casting a lot of spells this last expansion. And now the next card, a Druid card, if you cast 15 or more spells this game, refresh 4 mana crystals. That could easily go be in touch with Forbidden Fruit, or if you just want to like use 2 mana to gain 4 mana crystals, which is a pretty good steal, I'd say. And then connectivity with Shaman. The next spell you cast also targets adjacent minions. Now that is interesting. So you could do like a triple lightning strike or a triple spell that just annihilates adjacent minions, which I think that would be really good for Shaman, because there was used to be a legendary card that would do this just when it's on the field, but now this is a spell that just makes it so that your next spell does this effect, which is pretty good. And now Void Scripture for Mage. It's just a spell. If you have enough mana to play it, you can cast a copy of it at a random mana. That seems really good, especially with the pool of spells that Mage can play, and the ability to just cast a copy of it at a random minute. You do add that little bit of randomness, but I feel like that's worth it if you're casting a copy. Beastful Madness for Hunter, give 1 attack to all your minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield. That seems pretty good, especially if it's everywhere, and you can have 2 of these in your deck, so you could just have +2 attack to every card you currently had possession. Luckily, it's not like permanent, like for the rest of the game. Next is a warrior card. Is transformed into a copy of Damage Minion. In Rage Warrior, seeing some play, you could see it definitely a lot of potential with just damaging your own cards to become copies, especially for only 2 mana. That seems like a steal. Mage, if you cast 5 or more spells. So I've seen a pattern here that most cards, most classes have a card that if you cast 5 or more spells, it will do something in your favor of that said class. If you're and you have 5 more, hold on. If you have 5 or more spells this game, draw 2 cards. That could be pretty good tempo, especially with more card draw to mage. Definitely good. Now, eroding insanity. Both players take fatigue damage twice, so that could definitely work with fatigue warlock, the fatigue cards that they have, and uh, the cards that can make the opponent take fatigue damage. Like I believe it's a 1 mana shadow spell that people can spam a lot with copying and stuff. Now we have Hunter, which is a rush and has the death rattle to summon a chimera with the equal stats to this minion's attack. So you can increase that with the other spell that we saw earlier, and for it to be like a 4/3, or you could just buff it. Yeah, that seems really good, especially with the triple banana spell that you have. That could definitely work. Now we have Sinister Soul Cage, and to give a friendly undead 2/2, spend 5 cores to summon a copy of it. Now that's pretty good, especially with being able to use your corpse pool to use that in an unholy rune deck. Next we have the security bot. Draw another minion that's attack and health and cost of 5. That could be pretty cool, especially if you were to draw like a 1 mana card that his stats are 1/1. For Paladin, that could definitely be an issue with that 1 mana 1/1 with Divine Shield and Taunt. That could definitely be a problem. Another Paladin card, Keeper's Strength, give a friendly minion 2/2, and then deal its attack damage to all the other minions. So that would also be including your minions. So just in case, use it, make sure like it's not gonna kill your entire board. When Paladin has been known to have like wide board gain. And Prison Break, if you cast 5 or more spells this game, deal 3 damage to all enemies. Yeah, that's especially for a neutral card. That is definitely interesting. But I guess the good maybe a 4 mana board clear with a body. That's pretty good. It's only to all enemies. So that is a pretty good card. To maybe put in your deck. Sorry. Battle card, get a random overload card. That could be really good. Turn 1 for Shaman. Next, we have Runes of Darkness is just discover a weapon and spend 3 corpses to give it 1/1. That's really good. Giving weapons +1 attack and +1 durability is really good, especially in a Blood Rune deck. You get a lot of Blood Rune weapons with that. Is it limited to just rune weapons? Because if that's the case, you could just discover any weapon. Then that there's a ton of weapons that when you have an extra durability, it definitely makes a difference. Then we just have regular Chaotic Tendril. We all know what this does. Twilight Torrent, you can choose a character. If it's friendly, you can restart 6 health. If it's enemy, you deal 3 damage. This could definitely be used to heal a bunch, like one character a lot, especially when it restarts 3 health. And for 2 mana, dealing 3 damage to an enemy, it's interesting. Next would be Tentacle Grip, rogue card. You deal 3 damage, and if you combo, you get a 1/1 Chaotic Tendril. Then next is another Sigil, which is a hint to the next year of Hearthstone, which is the Hourglass. And at the start of your turn, you draw 3 additional cards. This could be used in wild games with Quest Demon Hunter. It also could be used as standard for very tempo-ish Uh, Demon Hunter could be definitely use that. Then this card that just which Battlecry and Death Rattle is a 2/2 treatment. So that's pretty good, especially for 3 mana. You can get a lot of tokens out there. Then the Tentacle Tender, saying that 5 times fast. At the end of the turn, you get that's at the end of your turn, so that's just a lightning effect. That's pretty good, especially you could just farm chaotic tendrils for multi-match, especially with that 5 health. Not gonna be, yeah, probably have to focus that. Celestial Shot, you deal 3 damage, and then your next spell is +2 damage. This could definitely be used with Arcane Hunter, that subclass of decks. Next we have Sickly Grime Walker. After you summon an undead, you give it poisonous. Poisonous for that's pretty good, especially if it's not play, it's summon. So that's a big difference. Because Demon Hunter with that Unholy Room summons a lot of like rush tokens. So if this just gives them all poisonous, you could definitely clear a board very easily as uh Death Knight. Muscle Musclotron, you give all your minions and your hand +1/1, and then you can use 2 mana in advance to give them +2/2. That could be really good with a bunch of mechs that you're like a bunch of minions that you're gonna have in your hand as paladin. And then next one is Mindbreaker. You deal 1 damage for each card you draw in the start. So this could with the Sigil of Time, especially with 2 of them, you could really amp up this card, and especially if it's draw this turn, that could definitely deal a lot of damage. And it's deal 1 damage period, so this could definitely set up for lethal if you just draw a bunch of cards, especially with them at discounted price. And then this one is Taunt, Give, get 2 Chaotic Tendrils, which could be able to get a lot of randomness into the game. Then the last 3 cards are Tiny World Breaker. If you control an mech, you deal 4 damage. Pretty good for Rogue, Mech Rogue. Another is Satanize. Uh, Sanitize, sorry. You could deal damage equal to your armor to all minions, which is interesting. And then you could use 2 mana to reforge, and then gain 3 armor first. So you could gain the armor and then deal it. So even if you have no armor, if this is reforged, you can still do 3 to all minions. Now this is Tainted Remnant. If you've played Elemental last turn, deal 7 damage, split randomly between all enemies. So if the guy has no enemies on the ground, that could be just 7 to face. It is 5 mana though, so that would be interesting. Anyway, that's it. If you want to see more Hearthstone content, comment down below. Really, I can't believe I'm saying this. Uh, really, it would mean a lot to me if you would comment down what content you want to see. I have no idea what I want my channel to mainly be about, whether it's Hearthstone, Roblox, some other game you guys want me to try out, anything. I'm begging you. Anyways, hope you all have a great day, and I'll